This is UMAR Ahmed for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by Frank Warren. How are you, mate?
All right, Umar. How are you, young man?
Good, thank you. Last time I saw you was actually at this hotel with Bob Aaron, but I didn't want to intrude.
No, we were having a chat. Trying to sort some fights out.
Crawford Khan to put on BT?
So, we will see. We will see. We will see. Fingers crossed.
Okay, a lot to talk about. Obviously, Billy Joe, great news. He's been made mandatory for Andrade's belt. Where do you think that fight will land up, though?
I don't know. I mean, the purse bid be 75-25 if we go to purse bid, so it'd be interesting to see where we go with that. But you know, it's a shame that he's in this position. He's got a fight for his belt that he never lost in the ring. But anyway, it is what it is, and Bill's focused. So let's get the fight on as soon as possible.
Have you seen Eddie trying to persuade Bill to come to DAZN?
Well, you know, we have a promotional agreement with him. If he wants to talk, then he knows where he's got to come to.
Okay, quickly just want to talk about this, what's happened here. Ronnie Clark, why has he pulled out?
I've got no idea, but he's out, and it's a pain in the backside. It's not the first time he's pulled out of a fight on our shows. But anyway, I don't want to talk about him. It's gone. It's done, dusted. You know, it's not, you know, we're all annoyed, but we're not in the Ronnie Clark business. We're in the Sam Bowen business, and we'll make a big fight for him at Leicester. He'll have a big fight there.
Sure, obviously Anthony Yard in a step-up fight. We know Amar went 12 rounds with Gvozdyk, who just ruined Adonis Stevenson. So good to see that fight on.
Well, it's a tough fight for him, and it's going to be a yardstick, isn't it? You know, as you say, he went the distance, and he's a tough guy. So that's what we're looking for. You know, we all know what Anthony's good at doing. We know he's a good puncher. He's not a bad boxer. This is going to be quite a big test for him.
Spoken to Dillian Whyte recently?
No, I haven't. He's been speaking to a lot of people. He's been in the States. He's been making the rounds, so I understand, talking to various promoters. So it doesn't seem like he's a happy camper at the moment.
He said the offer that Eddie Hearn and Joshua made was utterly ridiculous. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know what he offered him, but all I know is the offer that was made to Tyson Fury was the same. So for once, we're all in agreement. They're utterly ridiculous offers.
Do you feel for Dillian?
Well, look, you know, he went and done what he had to do, didn't he? He went and give them a show on Sky pay-per-view, and he came for it, and he should be now reaping the rewards. I mean, whether he will or not, I've got no idea. It seems it's quite chaos there as far as who Anthony Joshua is fighting next.
Gut instinct, will he fight Miller?
Well, that's the way it seems to be. But you know what? I couldn't give a monkey's who he fights, because we're in the Tyson Fury business, and what we're trying to do is get an ordered rematch over the line with him and Deontay Wilder, which was one of the great fights of last year, and we're looking to get that on again.
Let's talk about Tyson. Obviously, as you said, the WBC have ordered that rematch. And 60-40 split, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that tells you you need to know about the decision, doesn't it? That there's a view that it wasn't, it wasn't a clean-cut thing for Deontay Wilder. So that's good, but hopefully we won't get to that position. I think we're all mature and been around long enough to be able to pull a deal together between both camps. We're in discussions at the moment, and hopefully we will have that sorted out by the end of the week. Next week.
Hopefully a deal can be reached. There was talk potentially straight after the fight of it, the rematch happening in the UK. Is that completely ruled out now?
I very much doubt it will happen in the UK. The big money is in the States as far as the American pay-per-view is concerned. That looks like to be the favourite. I'd like to get it in the UK. Tyson like it in the UK, but financially, it may be difficult to do that.
Are you concerned though about that fight happening over there with what happened last time in terms of the judging?
Well, next time round we asked him. We don't want no British judges. We don't want no American judges. We don't want. We want pure neutral officials. And if it goes on in Vegas, I know they have their own regulations out there as to appointments. But one of the things that we will stipulate is that's what we want. So it's an issue that's got to be resolved. I mean, guys shouldn't go through fights and have great fights, exciting fights, and everybody's arguing about whether the judges got it right or wrong. That's not what it's about. The judges should get it right. And if they make a mistake, they should do like they do with football referees. Demote them. But they just don't. They just go on and do another fight. And I find that the policing of the sport from that point of view is quite, it's quite lacking.
Just back to Billy Joe. If he does have to travel to America, are you concerned about that as well?
I'm concerned about any fighter who fights away, but we shouldn't have to all this, you've got to have a British judge in Vegas, you've got to have the American judge. It shouldn't be about them. It's not, for the sake, we've had 2 fights in Vegas in the last couple of years with highest profile fights in boxing, Golovkin and Alvarez, and they were both controversial. Great fights, but all people were talking about was the controversy, and that's wrong. Should be talking about what a great fight it is. So, what I want to see is more transparency, and I don't think it's not about all these little domains and kingdoms and commissions giving their guys work. It should be about the public perception of it being fair, and that's what it should be, fair.
Moving on, Oscar Valdez fights next week. Is that the fight you and Josh want?
He'd love it. He'd love that fight. Of course he'd love that fight. But we're at the moment burdened with this IBF title fight.
Yeah, purse bids have been extended for that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But in an ideal world, you'd want that Valdez fight obviously over the Galahad fight. Of
course, it's a unification match. It's a more meaningful fight as far as Josh is concerned. They're the fights that Josh wants. I mean, look, he's not shied away from fighting people, has he? Everybody he fights, have been quality fighters. His last 2 fights, you couldn't get any bigger than that. Selby, who's considered to be by a lot of the media the best pound-for-pound British fighter. I mean, he's done a job on him, and his last fight against Carl Frampton was a very, very exciting fight, and he won that one. So, he's a top quality guy who wants to fight the best.
Right, 2019 for you though, with Tyson, Billy Joe, and Josh Warrington.
Very much so, and a lot of our young guys. With Anthony, with Daniel Dubois and Sam Bowen and Nathan Gorman. I mean, there's a big list of them. We've got some great young fighters, and we're going to make sure this year we have a real bumper year with them.
Just lastly, have you got a message for Dillian Whyte?
Well, come and have a chat, Dylan. It won't hurt. Will it? Come and see us, Dylan, and you may even be happy to hear what's being said. But I'm sure we'll meet down the line. He's doing the right thing. He's looking at all his options and seeing what he should do. He's been to see. I know he's met with Bob Arum. I know he's met with Heyman, Al Heyman. So why shouldn't he do that? He's unattached. He's unhappy. So go and let's see what we can do.
One more. Did you hear Bob Arum's comments about Joshua and that Fury, in terms of the American market, is the main man? That's how they see it.
Well, he is. He is. I mean, Tyson Fury, the general opinion, including Showtime, was that he won the fight. They did 325,000 buys. Anthony Joshua on the zone, and he didn't have to pay for it, done 16,000. Povetkin, they did 16,000. So that tells you all you need to know.
Frank Warren, thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure, young man.